What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Forgo. Today we're going to evaluate whether or not the Deadpool uniform is actually worth buying. Because aside for being a really fugly looking uniform and a uniform that you have to pay full price for, 1,750 crystals for this thing, a native tier 2 character, is it worth leveling up? Right? Because a big thing that this uniform does for Deadpool is that it does give him a nice leadership. The increased attack by 40% for all allies is awesome, but really for Gwenpool is where it's at, right? This increased basic damage to boss types by 60% is godly for her. Now, the question you probably ask yourself is, if this is what you're looking at, is it really worth it to you to level up a character just for Gwenpool that needs a paywall uniform in order to shine? Right? So obviously from that perspective alone, if you're not going to be getting Gwenpool, if you're free to play, then you're not going to give a crap about this. And then you're just looking at Deadpool as a solo character, right? Is he strong enough on his own? Well, I mean, the uniform is a huge upgrade. Like I said in the last video, it's a massive upgrade for him. But how strong is it, right? I mean, they gave him accumulation. They gave him a lot of hits. And something that's really wacky about Deadpool, I saw a lot of the comments in the last video, and actually I agree with those comments about his rotation. It's really strange. You know, you want to hit your accumulation on the third skill, but on the, now what I was doing, I was going 3, 4, 5, right? Now look at how many hits we do. All right, look at how many hits we do here. We do 212 hits with those 3 opponents, right? Well, if I go 3, 5, delay, and then go into the 4, we do 210 hits, pretty much the same. So I assume that you could just go 3, 4, 5, and you would actually, it'd be the same, right? Because we're doing the same amount of hits, at least in the skill preview. However, it's not the case. Actually, a better rotation would be 3, 5, delay, let him hit, then 4, 2. Cancel the 4 immediately in the 2, right? The 3 and the 4 you can cancel immediately, but you want to end the proc on the second skill, and you actually will do a lot more damage. Now, for the first rotation, it's 3, 5, delay, 4, 2, and then what it is, it's going to be 3, 5, 4, tier 3. And you can keep the proc where it belongs for the most part, guys, if you do it this way. If you try delaying that 5, once you hit that 4, like, I mean, you could go 3, 5, delay, hit 4, 2, right? You could do that in your first rotation. And then you could try going 3, 5, delay, 4, tier 3, right? And honestly, that would be the big dog because you're going to get all the damage from the 5, the 4, the tier 3 all at once. However, you'll find if you do that, more than likely your proc is going to trigger early. So I do it a little bit different where in the first rotation, I just go 3, 5, delay, hit, 4, 2. And whenever he does that hit on the 5, that damn thing does set out the proc sometimes. And it's really, really tricky to do, guys. But then in the second rotation, I just go 3, 5, 4, tier 3. Right? And you can keep the proc where it belongs a lot better if you do it that way. And his tier 3 does do quite a bit of damage. So that's the way that I'm going to be playing with him. But again, I think a better rotation would be 3, 5, delay, 4, 2, and then 3, 5, delay, 4, tier 3. But I don't like to delay the 5 on the second rotation before I use the tier 3 because, again, guys, that damn thing just sets off the proc, man, a lot. And so he's not, that's another thing about the character is, I said in the last video it's proc friendly because I thought, 3, 4, 5 would be the best rotation, but it really isn't. You will do more rotation with 3, 5, delay, 4, 2, and then 3, 5, delay, 4, tier 3. You will do more damage if you do it that way, if the proc lands where it's supposed to land. That's the caveat to this character. He is not proc friendly if you're trying to play him optimally, right? He's not. He's kind of like this, guys. He's kind of, like he's still going to be really great for dispatch missions because he still has a crazy all defense down, right? On top of, just being a whole lot stronger with the accumulation. But because he isn't as proc friendly as he should be, because you have to pay full price for the uniform, and if you're not buying the Gwenpool uniform, it's just kind of like, hopefully he's strong enough on his own to do well. And guys, as far as this build with his leadership, I got 39,000 physical attack. You can see the stats are pretty much maxed out except for the critical rate, guys, for the most part, right? And he does have mythic physical attack Urus on him. right? He's got a fully awakened Power Ring Rock set. He doesn't have an artifact, which would give him a little bit more damage to be fair, but most people aren't going to have the artifact. And then we have a mighty CTP of energy, giving him an extra 5% pierce, right? This is the exact same obelisk that I'm going to be running on the opponent that he's going to be dealing with. We also have a mythic uniform. Now, as far as the uniform options for Deadpool, you have Quasar here, which is, paywall uniform. Then you have Captain Marvel. Then you have She-Hulk. Then you have Wolverine. And then you have Amadeus Cho, which is kind of a bummer because that's a pretty bad uniform at this point in the game. But we're going to be comparing Deadpool to Hawkeye. Now, this is what's going to be crazy about this test I'm going to show you. We're not going to use Deadpool's leadership for Hawkeye. We're going to be using Hawkeye's leadership, which is trash, my friends. It doesn't give him extra attack. Now, White Fox, I got White Fox here because she's actually going to be giving some ignore dodge and some all attack and chain hit damage to the hero allies. So both Deadpool and Hawkeye are going to benefit from this. They're both going to get that increased all attack. So the stats that I'm showing you is what we're actually going to be playing with. But Hawkeye actually has 39,500 physical attack, guys. He's got the same physical attack as Deadpool without Deadpool even having, his leadership. That's pretty effed up, isn't it? Because Deadpool's a native tier 2 character. Both of them don't have Odin's Blessing. Both of them have physical attack Urus. That's pretty effed up in my opinion, right? Like Deadpool should have higher native stats than a native tier 1 character. He absolutely should, but he doesn't, which is wacky. And then you can see the stats are pretty much maxed out for the most part, guys. Pretty much the same, right? And then we have fully awakened Power Ring Rock set, no artifact. And again, a mighty CTP of energy with 5% pierce, 200% damage proc. Guys, it's exactly the same mythic uniform. I really thought it was effed up that Deadpool didn't have as high stats as Hawkeye. Only if you use Deadpool's leadership, which is strange. That is strange. Another big difference between these two characters is that Hawkeye actually has ignore dodge. And because he has ignore dodge in his kit, where is that ignore dodge as? Passive here? Yeah. Okay, so like right here, he's got 40% ignore dodge. So that's actually one less striker, or actually two less strikers that you have to use for this character in World Boss. You can use damage to supervillain strikers instead, right? Which adds even more to his damage. It adds even more. Now, as far as the run that I'm going to show you guys, and it's just going to be the very first part of the phase against Null, because in all honesty, guys, this really is going to show you why you really shouldn't buy Deadpool unless you absolutely love the uniform and love the character. Then, of course, by all means, go for it. Enjoy the game. Play with the characters you want to play with. It's all good. He is way stronger. But we're going to be doing stage 45, high level against Null, where we need speed superheroes, right? And again, guys, I'm going to be using Deadpool's leadership in the run that you're going to see. And then I'm just going to throw Hawkeye using his leadership in the other run that you're going to see, right? So we're not even getting any kind of extra leadership for Hawkeye in this run with the exact same obelisk. Both physical attacking characters, both speed types. It's just one's a native tier 2 and the other's a native tier 1. So let's go ahead and bring up the run for you guys and you can check this out. So on the left side, we got Hawkeye, and on the right side, we got Deadpool. And again, for Deadpool, I'm just going 3-5 delay 4-2 in the first rotation, and then I'm going 3-5-4 tier 3, right? And I think I missed the proc maybe once on Deadpool, maybe once. I didn't miss it much at all. Honestly, it's not that bad to keep proc where it belongs, but whenever you do the 3-5 delay 4-2, I mean, he's got to do a hit with the 5, so he'll do those hits from the 5th skill. It's really tricky. But he does have there is a big damage difference between doing 3-5-4-2 instead of 3-5-4. It really is, guys. Seriously, big damage difference. And as you guys can see right now, for some reason, my timing got skewed off a little bit, whereas Deadpool is actually a couple seconds ahead of Hawkeye in the run that you're watching. So it appears like he's doing a little bit more damage, but because Hawkeye is actually a few seconds or a couple seconds behind Deadpool, Hawkeye's actually doing more damage. A free-to-play character that doesn't cost as much to level up. Granted, you use Phoenix Feathers to level up Deadpool, but yeah, I mean, and plus Hawkeye's actually got better uniform options too, to boot. And he's more proc friendly. He's a lot easier to play. The biggest advantage that Deadpool has over Hawkeye is his survivability. That is the biggest advantage he has over Hawkeye. And that's it. But you can keep Hawkeye alive in this high level, right? You see it. You can absolutely keep him alive. Requires a little bit more of careful gameplay, but you can do it. And guys, look at this. You know, right now the timing is about the same, right? They're both around that 317, 315 marker right now. And Hawkeye is, you know, a few bars ahead of Deadpool. He's pulling ahead. And I'm using Hawkeye's leadership. And I'm using Deadpool's leadership for him. It honestly doesn't really make any sense to me. I mean, Deadpool should have higher native stats than Hawkeye. You guys can see right there on the left side, it took all the way to 255 to do the first phase against Null. And Deadpool is still struggling to get through this. I mean, this pretty much indicates, you know, whether or not you should buy Deadpool and pay full price for this uniform, right? You can easily pick up Hawkeye, right? Both speed types, both have the same availabilities and both requirements, even though Deadpool is not considered a human. It's just kind of like, yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big difference, guys. You're looking at almost a 30-second difference with the same builds, and I'm using Deadpool's leadership. Right? I mean, Hawkeye is just a better character. And he's a speed, he's free to play, he's much easier to level up. So, I mean, I know Gwenpool is godly, but the thing is, if you're not buying that uniform and you aren't a massive Deadpool fan, or you don't even like this uniform, the look of it, then there's no need to buy it, right? Considering that this thing costs full price, it should be stronger than what it is. You know, to buy this uniform only for a support for Gwenpool is trash, in my opinion. That's trash. So they made a paywall uniform for Gwenpool, and then they made our native tier 2 character that you farm in the epic quest, that you got to pay full price for the uniform, weaker, and made him just a support. What? I mean, look at this hat, guys. I'm a Deadpool fan. And honestly, like, at first I was pretty excited when I saw the damage difference. But now, after testing him and putting him up against Hawkeye, and that's a completely fair comparison, I'm extremely disappointed with him. He should be way stronger than what he is. He should be way stronger. He should have higher native stats. He should be doing more damage. They should have gave him higher attack buffs. Like, I mean, this 50% basic defense should have been a 50% all attack buff, right? They should have gave him more buffs. He should be stronger than this. And honestly, I would highly advise Netmarble to make this character stronger than what he is. A native tier 2 character should be stronger than a native tier 1. 100%. And the fact that they did this update the way they did, gave us a paywall Gwenpool uniform, and then made Deadpool's uniform full price, and then relegated him to only a support. Don't get me wrong, guys. He's still useful as a support, right? For your teams, giving you the 40% all attack. But is it good enough, right? Is it good enough for you to want to buy it? Personally, I don't really think so, because I think what's going to end up happening for me is that I'll always play with Hawkeye instead of Deadpool because he's just much stronger. And Deadpool will probably end up getting a damn CTP of Insight because he's only going to be relegated to a support that I paid full price crystal for. So let me know what you guys think about the Deadpool uniform. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GMT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See you, everybody.